So previously I have only done a comparison between a Cricut and a Cameo because that's what I own and feel like I can give my honest opinion on. If you want to check that video out, take a look here. However, I have been toying with getting a larger machine just for when it gets really busy, which for me is during wedding season. So I've been doing a little bit of research into other companies who sell cutting machines, and I thought I would share that research with you. So in this video, I'm just going to compare a few of the cutting machine companies, both hobby and commercial, and I'll go over how they differ in terms of size, price, software, and reviews, just so that you can get a general overview of what is available out there, and then if there's anything you think might suit your needs, then you can go and do a bit more research into it. I'm not going to get too specific on model numbers just because some companies have so many, and also new ones are being released all of the time as well. Obviously, it goes without saying, before you make a big purchase like this, always do your own research and make sure you're happy with specifications, the company reviews, and all of that stuff before investing in something like this. Roland. So Roland are a very well trusted brand in the vinyl cutting industry. They have what they describe as a desktop cutter, which is 24 inches wide, and then much bigger machines that cut up to 54 and 64 inches wide as well. But then they do also have craft size cutters called Roland stickers, which range between 8 inches wide and 15 inches wide. So as you can see, like a massive range depending on what size of machine you want. The recommended software for these machines is Roland Cut Studio, and I believe this is included as standard with all of their machines. However, I have read that you can also cut directly from other software such as CorelDRAW or Illustrator as well. So this gives you a few different options depending on what you're confident using. In terms of price, for the commercial machines, they range between $2,000 or £1,250 for the 24-inch machine to $5,500 or $4,200 for the largest pro cutter. And then the craft machines are between £380, and then for the largest one it is £719 or $1,100. So obviously a very large investment, especially for the larger machines. Although you can actually often find Roland cutters second-hand on places like eBay and Facebook Marketplace. Just obviously make sure you're buying from a trusted seller and try and get some kind of proof that it is working before you buy it. A lot of people do recommend Roland for a cutting machine, especially when it comes to making large printed decals and banners, because apparently when they're paired with a Roland printer, they're extremely precise. They're also very good at cutting through thicker materials as well, apparently. So they would be great for making really large, thicker sign decals. Another company very well known in the industry for their professional cutters are Graftec. Their machines range from 24 inches to 63 inches wide, and they can range from $1,300 for the smallest model right through to £7,000 or $10,000 for their largest model, or even more for some of their flatbed cutters. And you can also get some print and cut bundles from some suppliers as well. There is a Graftec Pro software that can be used to create designs and cut. From what I can see, they only do these large commercial size machines, no craft size, and you can often find them refurbished or on second-hand sites as well. Obviously, again, always be wary of who you're buying from. From what I've read online, they are known as a very reliable company with machines that are easy to use and less likely to make mistakes than others. I've seen a lot of people recommend Graftec as well, and it gives me confidence that the two companies that I buy my vinyl from most often, Graftec is the machine that they have chosen to sell on their website as their choice for professional vinyl makers. So that is a pretty good sign, and definitely a good choice, especially if you want to kind of upgrade to a larger sign or decal making business, I think, because obviously they still are a very big investment. So the next company is US Cutter. Their SC2 series cutters are self-described as a workhouse vinyl cutter because they are an entry-level professional cutter and are noticeably cheaper than their competitors. They are available in 28 inches, 34 inches and 53-inch widths and priced between $450 and $900. Then they also have the MH series, which starts at 14 inches wide and $230 as well. With these machines, you can use Vinyl Master Cut or Shure Cut-A-Lot Pro. Vinyl Master is apparently very similar to Corel Draw and Inkscape, so great if you already have experience using those. Then in terms of setup and ease of use, these machines get good reviews. However, some people have had complaints that the stand hasn't been very good quality and that the machine itself is quite loud. But I think it's definitely a potential option, especially for people who are just starting out but want a larger machine. Another bridge between craft and commercial machines because of the low price point are Vivo. Vivo are actually a tools and machinery company, so sign making isn't necessarily their forte. However, this could be a benefit if you're looking for like a sturdily built machine. They do have a smaller 14-inch desktop cutter starting at around £170 or $260 through to a much larger 53-inch width machine, which is actually a very reasonable £379 or $485. Although prices do go up if you want extra accessories and upgrades. And they do heat presses and various other equipment too, so it might be worth looking into if you are looking for a whole new setup and you'll be using Iron on Vinyl as well. SignCut and SignMaster software is included with machines, but it can also be used with other software apparently. And it does get a lot of good reviews, which I was quite surprised at being at such a low price point. I think as a starter machine, it is definitely one to consider. Pixmax is another brand I've heard mentioned quite a lot from other vinyl businesses. And again, it seems to be more of a company that is focused on making commercial grade machines, as even their mini machine is 20 inches wide, starting at £223, and their largest is 53 inches, which is around £700. Although prices do differ depending on what software you choose. You can either get Flexi or SignCut Pro, and I could only find UK prices. I'm not quite sure how widely available they are. Again, there are a ton of heat press and printer bundles available with these machines. So great for anyone who needs like a full setup if they're just starting out. In terms of reviews for these machines, they're a bit mixed, but a lot of the complaints are about the software and how that is difficult to use. They are again on the cheaper side, so they're not going to be as good quality as the more expensive brands. Brother scan and cut machines. So I haven't personally seen a lot of other people mention or using the Brother scan and cut machines, and it's quite hard to find that much information on them. But from what I gather, they're machines where you scan in your own image and then you add it to a project to cut from there using the controls on the machine, and you don't actually need like a separate computer or device. And they also have a lot of inbuilt projects and fonts as well. So perfect if you want to make like your hand-drawn creations into something, or if you don't have a computer or another device that you would be confident using to design on, and you just kind of want everything all in one place. All of the machines seem to have around a 12-inch wide cutting area, but they range from £400 for the more simple version to £700 for the one has a few more features and a bigger LCD touchscreen. And they only seem to be available in Europe from what I can see. It actually gets really good reviews. However, to me personally, it seems like it may be a little bit complicated to learn, just as there's not that much info out there about it. But please do let me know if I'm wrong, if you've tried a Brother scan and cut machine and if you love it. I would love to hear more about it. Then I'll just do a super quick summary of Cricut here because I have a more in-depth Cricut comparison video of all of the Cricut machines here if you want to check that out. But basically Cricut have 3 levels of machines to choose from. The Joy, which is the smallest at 5.5 inches wide, through to the Cricut Maker 3 and Cricut Explore 3, which are 13 inches wide. You can also get earlier models of the Explore and the Maker as well. You can often find deals on these machines, but they range from £180, $180 to £400, $400. So quite reasonable, especially in comparison to some of the other companies, but they are first and foremost known as hobby machines, although a lot of people use them for business as well. You do have to use Cricut Design Space in order to cut on your machine, but you can design in other software and then upload to Design Space, which is just as well because Design Space doesn't have a lot of features and is quite basic. One of the plus points of using Cricut though is that there is so much information out there and so many different inspiration videos and tutorials and kind of idea posts of what you can do with them. They also cut a wider range of materials than just vinyl. Basically, the more expensive the machine is, the more materials you can cut. And the same goes for Silhouette as for Cricut. I have a comparison video for the machines here. But they range from their smallest Silhouette Portrait, which is 8 inches wide, through to the Cameo Pro, which is 24 inches wide. So they may be a better choice if you're torn between Cricut and Silhouette. If you want that extra width and you want to make larger decals, but you also want to be able to make like stickers and card projects as well. Prices range from £150 or $200 to £700 or $500. And then again, similar to Cricut, they are very well known as a hobby cutting machine. So again, there's so much information out there and lots of inspiration posts. Although not quite as much as Cricut, I don't think. However, their software is a lot better and can do a lot more, and that is called Silhouette Studio. Personally, I love that they have a roll feeder option on the Cameos, and it makes it so much easier for me to make larger decals. However, they aren't without their flaws either and don't always cut perfectly every time. So that was a very general overview of some of the most well-known cutting machine companies. There are also companies like Sizzix and Gemini that do die cutting machines, which I think can cut vinyl too. And then there are also other brands that make larger machines as well. There is so much choice, so it can be a difficult decision, especially when you're just starting out, to try and decide which machine will best suit your needs. But you just really need to consider the space you have available, your budget, and then also what you want to do with your machine or what you might want to do with it down the line. Also do take into consideration your level of design ability as well, and also what device you will be using to cut with. Not all machines are compatible with phones and tablets, for example, and not all software is compatible with a Mac either. Do let me know in the comments if you have any other machines that you would recommend, or if you've tried any of the ones I've mentioned as well. I would love to hear your thoughts. I think personally for the time being I'm just going to stick with my Cricut and Cameo as I don't really have the room for a larger machine. However, if I do upgrade in future, I'll be sure to do a video review on whichever one I go for. I hope that was helpful. If you've made it this far, then thank you. Please don't forget to like, follow and subscribe for more videos like this in future.